Yes, mate, so how's it going? My name's Lee, and welcome back to the FPL Punk YouTube channel, where we try to dominate FPL one game week at a time. In today's video, I'll discuss how my team looks for game week 35, which is post free hit game week 34, and look at a couple of my favourite transfer targets heading into the last few game weeks of the season. I would hang on making any changes until both of the FA Cup ties have been decided, as that will decide which teams double and which teams blank. As of right now, Man City are currently favourites to beat Forest, and Villa are favourites to beat Crystal Palace. Obviously, anything can happen in football, so do hang on and keep an eye on those FA Cup ties, as whoever does win will double in game week 36 and then blank in game week 37. Enjoy FPL content, please subscribe to the channel down below. Anyway, let's rock and roll.
Be strong.
So as of right now, my team reverts back to how my team was in game week 33 because I did free hit in game week 34. So currently I'm going to play David Raya ahead of Areola. Areola's apparently got a green fixture up against Spurs, but I don't trust West Ham at all. Like I still trust the Arsenal defence, and I have doubled up on the Arsenal defence with Kivior. So a double Arsenal defence. I still think Kivior will play as of right now. I think his minutes might get reduced if they do decide to get a little bit fancy with playing different players in different positions and moving things around. But I feel like once Arteta gets kind of settled with a back two, he likes to just stick with them. So I think as long as he's playing well and they look good as a unit with Kivior and Saliba, I think he's just going to play and just kind of stick with it. Don't love the fixture Bournemouth at home. Bournemouth are very hit and miss. Sometimes they look unbelievable, and other times they just seem to fall apart. They're a little bit like Brighton in that way, in my opinion, where they can look great 1 minute and then not so great the other minute. Two bad games after this with Liverpool and Newcastle coming up. A really nice game in game week 38 away to Southampton. There's only 4 game weeks left, including game week 35. So it's kind of crunch time now. And I would kind of avoid making too many changes to your goalkeeper and your defence if you can help it, because that's not where you score massive points. So I think whoever you've got, mainly as a goalkeeper, I wouldn't make any goalkeeper transfers now. I think I'm just going to stick with who I've got. I mean, like even the Liverpool game. If Liverpool win today, they win the league. So maybe the rest players in that game rotate around. Maybe they got a bit of a hangover from winning the league and they don't perform as well as they normally do. So I'm not that bothered about that right now. Next up, we've got Guardiola. Really happy keeping him. Potential double coming up as well if they do beat Forest in the FA Cup tie. That would be 36, but then they would blank in game week 37, which is currently being predicted. And so as of right now, I'm just going to keep him for this game week 35 game as a minimum, and then we'll just kind of reassess after that. I think even if they don't, I think if they play all the games, I'm going to keep him regardless, to be honest. Kind of thinking about it now, like the games aren't bad. Like he's got a good fixture in game week 36 away to Southampton, Bournemouth at home, Fulham away. I think I'm happy keeping them, to be honest, and not kind of messing around too much. I think the problem might be is that I kind of go too heavy with the teams that double in game week 36, and then I've got basically nobody playing in game week 37 or so. So I think that's just something that I need to keep in mind thinking about these FA Cup ties. Last but not least, we've got Munoz, and he's not got a great fixture, but I think he's so attacking and he's so far point. He's got such an advanced position on the pitch that I don't really mind too much. I don't expect them to keep a clean sheet at home to Nottingham Forest. Not got great fixtures moving forward. I think if I did make any defender transfer, it probably would be Munoz. I'm not really sure who I'd go to right now. I think I'd probably wait for the FA Cup ties and kind of maybe decide and maybe target a double player, because I have still got Dan Burn, I've still got Lewis Dunk on the bench there as well, so I can do some rotation from that point of view. But pretty happy with my goalkeeper and defence. None of them have got great fixtures, but they're all playing at home, and who knows, Arsenal might keep a clean sheet and Guardiola and Munoz get attacking returns, and we're laughing and we're getting those green arrows. Let's move on to the midfield. First up, we've got Bukayo Saka, and as of right now, I'm just going to keep him. I cannot see an issue messing around too much with this one. I think unless we get some major news of he's going to be injured or he's not going to play at all and they're going to save him for the Champions League fixtures, then I think I'm just going to keep him for now. Like, he's not got great fixtures in 36 and 37, but that fixture away Southampton game week 38 is just too tempting to not keep him. And depending on how they do in the Champions League, like I said, like depends whether I'm going to keep Saka or not. Like, he's still a lot of money, so like if I wanted to make like massive changes, Saka might be the one to kind of make way for some other players. Depending on how Palmer does this week in game week 34, I could see a lot of people maybe going Saka to Palmer. I'm just going to leave it for now and just kind of think about if that's the move that I actually want to make. think another player that could make way depending on minutes is De Bruyne, but as of right now, I'm going to keep him. I think he'll want to end on the high. Really disappointing game week 33 from De Bruyne, but felt like a gamble for me. Like it felt like a risk worth taking. I think if he goes big in that game, his ownership goes through the roof, and everyone owns him for these last few games of the season. Just one of those, mate, like where it just is what it is, and that's football sometimes. I'm still happy owning him. They've still got a good run of games. He's got Wolves coming up in 35. We scored 4 goals against them in previous seasons, so he can be great on his day still. And I still think he'll play the majority of the games, considering like he is leaving City at the end of the season. Onto Jacob Murphy again. I just think he's a better option compared to Ismail Assar, and I think he's that cheap you could almost potentially keep him. I don't mind playing him against Brighton. I think Brighton are quite leaker. Depending on what Chelsea are doing, you could even play in there. I think Arsenal's the only tough game in this one. I think he's such a big system player for them, and he's so important. The way Newcastle like to play. I'm not messing around with this one as of right now. On to Mo Salah. He's on for record-breaking season. Absolutely monstrous. Not messing around with this one. I think you could potentially sell him if you're chasing and you're trying to gain massive ranks. That just feels way too risky for me. His ownership still sky high. I still think his ownership and his captaincy will still be high in a lot of these fixtures, even though they are considered grey or like grey to red fixtures. Don't think it really matters for them. In terms of like players that I'm looking at, we'll take a look at a couple of players that I'm mainly looking at towards the back end of the video. But midfield and forward are two areas that I am thinking about making some changes. But let's look at the forward line, then afterwards we'll look at some transfer targets. First up, we've got Mateta, and again, not a great fixture, probably similar to kind of Munoz, where I don't expect them to do well from a defensive point of view, but I still think they're good going forward. Mateta just seems to produce magic from nowhere. Like his goal against Arsenal was just unbelievable, like a little cheeky chip from nowhere. So I'm more than happy playing Mateta. He's a beast. If he doesn't move in the summer, it'll surprise me. Like, not that he's too good for Crystal Palace. I just think his ceiling is pretty high. I don't know why he's not linked with the likes of Man United and Chelsea. Like, I think he could be that good, and I think he can get better as well. So like, it wouldn't surprise me if he does get linked to the likes of United and Chelsea and all these other teams that are desperate for a proper number 9. If I'm forced to keep him, I don't mind. He might be the one that has to make way, because I don't see myself selling Isak or Marmoush. So Mateta might be the one that has to be sold. There are a few options out there. I am going to look at a forward in a moment, but if I'm forced to keep Mateta, then it is what it is. And he did end the season really well last year, and whether he can replicate it again remains to be seen. But like, his fixtures aren't that bad from an attacking point of view. Like, there's only Liverpool last game of the season, and we don't know how Liverpool are even going to line up in game week 38. So maybe just play him in that and just kind of hope for the best. But Mamouche, like, I'm happy owning him. Another disappointing player from game week 33. Like, I thought he was going to go crazy, but just didn't, and it is what it is. Wolves this week, Southampton next week. As long as Haaland's out and Haaland's not going to play, I'm just going to continue to play Mamouche. I think as soon as we start getting kind of hints that Haaland might be back, then that might be time for Mamouche to go. But Haaland's one of those where he never plays if he's not 100% fit, and if we get to Southampton and Bournemouth and he himself doesn't feel 100%, I just don't think he's going to play, just straight up. So as a result, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Mamouche just plays a full every single game from now until the end of the season, and they just rest Haaland, and not to aggregate anything, and I'm just waiting until the new season. Onto Isak, and again, he's just a beast. There might be some issues with rotation with Callum Wilson, but he's just injury prone, and I don't think you can rely on him anymore. So he could be someone that might have to make way, because he's got so much value tied up in him. That might be an area where I could maybe target a couple of players. But the fixtures aren't bad. They're still Brighton away, Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, who are strong suitors of Isak. Like, whether he's going to put on a show away to Arsenal, kind of like put himself on display. That could be something that wouldn't surprise me. Like, if Isak just goes away to Arsenal and just kind of rips up and says, "There you go," like, just like put himself in the shop window almost. And then Everton at home, which is a great fixture again. But let's take a look at my two main transfer targets as of right now before the FA Cup ties. So the first one is Brian Mbeumo, and this is probably no surprise to anyone. Brentford have got some good games. Man United at home, we're just a mess. We struggle for almost to do anything. We don't score. We concede a lot of goals. Brian Mbeumo, 33 appearances so far in the league, 18 goals, 7 assists, 210 points. So his key stats per 90 between game week 29 and 33. 2.4 shots, 2.6 key passes, 0.34 XG, and 0.37 expected assist. And when it's green, that's better than his season average. So he is performing slightly better than his season average as of right now. And he's got some good games coming up. Man United at home, Ipswich away. His predicted points are below there, and they kind of range from 5 to 5.6. But he's on penalties, and we all know how lethal he can be and how many points he can score. Like, if he gets a couple of goals, he probably gets max bonus as well and comes away with a 12, 15, 17 point, or and whatever that is. So I think he's strongly on the buy side of things. If you are looking for a midfielder that doesn't have any kind of prospective doubles coming up, because obviously like players that do double are going to blank in 37 as well, so that's just something to keep in mind. So if you want someone that's going to play every single week, Mbeumo might be the man to go for. My second main transfer target and another Brentford player is Johan Wissa, and Mbeumo's teammate. 6.6 million, really cheap budget friendly forward, 14.5% owned, 31 appearances so far in the league, 15 goals, 5 assists, 159 points so far. So his key stats per 90 between game week 29 and 33, 2.4 key shots, 1.2 key passes, 0.31 XG, and 0.11 expected assist. The bits in red, so his shots are slightly down from his season average, which are around 2.7, 2.8, so he's getting 0.3 less shots per 90. His XG is down from 0.5, 0.6-ish. But obviously, like, he per 90 stats are kind of skewed a little bit, depending on, like, if they don't play full 90 minutes, and it kind of takes averages from those and kind of extends them. So kind of take them with a little bit of pinch of salt, but I kind of like to look at them from a current point of view as opposed to a season average. I thought that kind of puts it into perspective of how well this player is playing over the in the last few recent game weeks. And same as Mbeumo, like, he'd predict to get some decent points coming up. 4.8 versus Man United in 35, 5.1 versus Ipswich away in game week 36, 4.4 in both 37 and 38. But just looks good, mate. Like he looks quite sharp. He looks electric. I like him as a player. Kind of reminds me of like a bit of a throwback type of player. Like that, those like early 90s, early 2000s kind of forwards. Quick, really sharp, good goal scorer. Yeah, he's a beast, mate, and he's very much on the buy side of things. If I was to make both of these transfers, I'm about 0.1, 0.2 million short, so I would have to make a further transfer, so I'd have to take a hit to do that. Not sure what I'd do to kind of maneuver that around, or whether I just go Isak to Wissa or Mamouche to Wissa, which then would allow me just to do the moves in one. Something to think about over the next few days, but wait for the FA Cup ties, wait before anything gets nailed before you start making those final decisions. Right, mates, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. So this is how my team looks right now before all the Premier League games, all the FA Cup games. I've got to go out. I've got no time to record over the course of today, so apologies if it is very, very early and all this is probably nonsense and it means nothing to anyone. So I hope you got something from it anyway. If you did enjoy, subscribe, leave a like, drop a comment down below. Have a good day. Peace and love.